Here's the current stock market update for NIO Incorporated, stock ticker NIO. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comments section so that other traders can find this information more easily on the platform. So what we're looking at here is a 2-hour price chart, a little bit unconventional, but I do think that this gives us a good view of what is going on at the moment. And as we can see, the share price itself is really starting to develop a little bit of a trading range here at these lower levels. We can see that the share price itself has now broken through that 520 area that we were watching, and these near-term lows are still coming in right around $5.05. So, in some sense, this $5 area is still being protected. But the outlook for me here does remain guarded because the bounces from this area have been pretty weak. I mean, we did see a bounce into 535, which isn't a terrible price movement, but you'd want to see some follow through from there. I mean, if you're just seeing a 30-cent gain and then prices pull back from there, it's really not very impressive. Not very impressive. So, I assume at this point people think that I'm bearish on the stock. I have been asked if I'm being paid by a hedge fund. People are telling me to disclose my short position and things like that. I do not have a short position, and I actually don't even expect the share price itself to move much lower. The main issue that I'm having with the chart at this point is that there really isn't anything here that is screaming bottom to me or screaming an end to this major decline that we have been seeing here. I really don't expect share prices to move a significant distance below here. I do think that we're approaching the bottom, but when I see share price bounces that are this small, and we will sort of move in here a bit just so that we can take a better look, we can see that most of the gains here have been given back quite quickly. So what we're looking at here is a 5-minute price chart, and for example, if we just look at this minor trend wave here, I mean, this is very short term in nature. I'm sure I'm going to get some comments talking about how you're a long-term investor and you don't really care about these short-term price movements, but they're significant for a reason. I mean, what we're really looking to accomplish here is to determine whether or not this is the bottom. And you do want to know where the bottom is because that's how you get the best prices on your investments. I mean, I think that this is pretty obvious, but some people don't seem to understand that. A lot of people are saying things like, just buy in anywhere under 10. It's like, well, there are some fairly significant differences here. I mean, you could get a 40% cheaper stock if you just, wait for the right entry point. So, these are significant price movements here. And I understand that people might not be so interested in the 5-minute time frame and things like that. But the goal here is to figure out whether or not this is the bottom. So specifically what I'm looking at here, this is that recent trend sideways trading range that we were seeing on that 2-hour time frame, and it was very small there. If we sort of drill down and look at the 5-minute chart here, we can see that the share price did get a little bit of a bounce here at a very critical level. This is important because share prices were sort of obeying these Fibonacci regions. We did see a little bit of a bounce here, but then what happened next? Share prices, didn't see much follow through, and then we ultimately broke through that level. So currently, as far as Fibonacci analysis is concerned, the only real level to watch from this point would be roughly 515. If we see a break below 515, that does then suggest that we're going to see a retest of those prior lows at 505. And then the question at that point becomes, how many times are we going to be able to test this area before it finally breaks? And I do think that share price movements below $5, I think it's going to be significant because obviously the Chinese government has injected a lot of stimulus recently. Even as this decline was occurring, they were enacting stimulus measures, and it's not supporting the stock. So we do have to keep that in mind because what that tells us is that even with these sort of artificial measures that should be supporting prices, the stock is still moving lower. So what that tells you is that we haven't found a bottom yet. I mean, these are all signals that say that we haven't found a bottom. So, share prices can continue to move lower, in my view. We do still need to break below that 505 area. Could you see a bounce from there? Possibly, sure. But I'm just starting to become very suspicious of this area because, the bounces here have been limited and we're starting to now see lower highs as well. So, this is the main line in the sand here. Should you buy around $5 per share? I don't see a huge problem with that. Okay, so that should tell you right there that I don't have a short position on the stock if I'm telling you to buy around $5. I mean, I think you can probably get a better price than that. I think you can probably get a lower a lower stock price than $5. Um, but the real question at this point is will this area hold? Will this 505 area hold? In order for me to sort of revise this outlook, what I would need to see at this point would be a break above 535. So that's this prior resistance area here. We've also got some additional resistance that comes around this area, which comes in at, this is sort of a spike high at 550, right? That was that strange price movement where we actually saw a price gap in the beginning of the trading session, but then share prices just immediately reversed. So this is a very strange type of resistance level. I usually don't like to use those types of resistance levels as a basis for trades because they're kind of strange. I mean, what you really saw here was a gapping movement to the top side, and then the market just immediately started to sell off the stock. So, you can call that a resistance level, but I wouldn't rely on that too much. So at the moment, what you do need to see is a break above 535. If you do see a break above 535, then what you're going to start to look for will be evidence of an uptrend. I mean, we don't have that at the moment because we've broken through here, and this is a lower low. This October 23rd low is lower than the October 22nd low, not by much, but it's, the stock is not able to, form an uptrend at the moment. And you do need to see that type of activity to determine whether or not a bottom is in place. And this is the real issue. Like that's the only thing people should be doing with this stock right now. Making this single assessment. Are we at a bottom here or not? Are you going to see more attractive prices, to buy in or not? And I think at the moment, there's not enough going on here to make me think that share prices are likely to start moving higher. The bounces have been minimal, and the best, most significant price pattern that we're able to form at this point is really just a sideways trading range. So, this is not an uptrend. This is not something that sort of signifies an upward price movement. So, does this mean we're not at the bottom? It could be true that we do start to see some defense of that $5 area. But at the same time, I think people need to remain cognizant of the fact that a break below here is likely to influence sentiment. And it's going to sort of put us right back where we started from as far as those prior 360 lows are concerned. I'm not saying that the stock exactly goes down to those levels, but I'm talking about, overall sentiment here. What you're dealing with is a stock that's either above $5 or below $5. I do think that tends to have an impact on how people look at a stock. If you're trading at these very low valuations, I don't think people are as interested to start buying in necessarily. I mean, some people on YouTube like these low dollar value stocks, but in many ways, having a valuation at that level can influence sentiment, and it can sort of influence some people in the market and sort of deter them away from possibly buying in. So here's the current market update for NIO Incorporated, stock ticker NIO. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.